The Frozen North, Episode 28, our top 5 underrated games.
Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Frozen North podcast. As you can tell, my voice is not so wonderful today. I had a little bit of a cold, just getting over it. Feel good, but my throat unfortunately does not. So there's that.
Unacceptable.
He's still going to have it
Unacceptable.
He's going to have it next week too.
I will technically.
Yeah, he's going to have the same cold next week in the future.
So I'm gonna try and let these guys do most of the talking. That way you don't have to. I mean, unless you want to hear this sexy voice.
I think you should do a lot
I'm
of
loving
talking.
it.
Like I personally, for me, I'd love to do a lot of the talking as usual, but
I'm down with that.
Interrupting you guys all the time. But we need some JJ voice, especially when it's a little bit more rough.
Oh man, how about we talk about some video games?
We
are.
Is that what we do on the
is
show?
This a podcast about video games? I was not told that when I signed up.
Video games. Yeah. We are the Frozen North. We are a podcast that talks about story-focused video games. If this is your first time listening to us, welcome.
Hi.
We hope you stick around for the rest of the show. We got a good one for you today. We're going to be talking about our top 5 underrated games. We got some news for you, and we'll talk a little bit about what we've been playing lately. So my name is JJ, and I'm here with my two friends, Mark.
I'm also here with my two friends.
I did
Brian.
it normal, and he got thrown off.
He can't ever get I want one time Mark to just be like, I want the exchange to be like, JJ, I'm here with my two friends, and then Mark goes, hi guys, I'm Mark. How are you doing today? Boom. And then like the sky falls.
See, that would throw me off.
Yeah. I'd be like, oh, like who are you? No, but classic Mark.
So who are you?
I am the Brian of the show. So I will be doing the Brian stuff.
He is the Brian.
Yeah, the Brian of the show. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Every show's got a Brian. Happens to be ours.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we start talking a little bit about what we've been playing lately? Me personally, I've been throwing down on some Witcher. The first one. I'm not very far. I haven't been able to hit it too hard because I just got a new job, so I've been focusing on that and stuff. My sleep schedule is all different from the way it used to be, so I'm trying to get used to it again. But it's getting there, and with weekends off now, I'll definitely have a lot more time to game, so it'll be good. Other than that, really nothing else. Pretty much just The Witcher. That's it. Mark?
Nice. I've also been playing The Witcher, obviously. I think I'm a little farther than you are. I've gotten to this sort of investigational part of the game, which I'm really digging.
Is that where you're in town, like talking to a bunch of people, going back and forth?
That's right. Yeah.
That.
That's pretty awesome.
Like an investigation?
Well, I mean, there's other kinds of investigation.
All right.
Sorry.
Also, I played episode 3 of The Wolf Among Us.
I saw you playing that on Steam the other day.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's a little shorter than the other ones, but overall, give it a thumbs up.
It's a good thing you said that.
Yeah, because
we're the only
I
ones
thought
who saw
you were just going to do the thumbs up to us and then not say anything. Overall,
I thought it was funny. Brian, what have you been playing?
I have been playing, actually picked back up Xenogears, been trucking along on that, sprinkling in a little bit of Diablo 3. There is an anniversary weekend where legendary drop rates are at 100% more. So I've been
experiencing 200% total?
Well, whatever percentage they were before, now
doubled.
So
it would have been nice if they'd have done like 108%.
That would have been nice.
Oh, really?
I would have bought the game if they did that.
I think that's too many percentage points.
Oh, but 200%'s fine?
Yeah, but yeah. Well, anyway, I digress. Also, I actually started playing. I bought. It was on Steam sale like last week. Assassin's Creed Liberation HD for like $10. Started playing that a little bit. So mainly Xenogears, but with a smattering of some other games.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we here at the Frozen North always appreciate feedback, so if you wouldn't mind, just shoot us an email. Hit us up at frozennorthpodcast@gmail.com. Check out our website at fngaming.net. We got a Facebook page at facebook.com/thefrozennorth. Our Twitter is up at FN Podcast. And we've got a blog at frozennorthpodcast.blogspot.com. And you can please subscribe. I always say that.
Subscribe.
Hey, you
Please
guys,
subscribe.
you guys
time.
must subscribe.
I don't know why I do that.
It's, latent accents.
I'm saying like subscribe and rate at the same time, I think.
Yeah,
That's what
well,
it
you can
is.
say, like, mix them all together, like subscribe rate, like.
Subscribe and rate us on iTunes, please. We would appreciate it. I don't even know why, I say that I'm going to let you guys do most of the talking, then I just bust in with all this crap.
Oh, yeah.
I'm loving it.
So,
I'm
yeah,
loving
it's
it. I think that voice is sounding good. Sounding good, sir.
That sounds wonderful.
Jeez, you're clapping for me? Thanks.
Yeah.
Brian, why don't we get into some news, man?
News, guys. Our first headline, Pokemon fans, rejoice. Ruby and Sapphire remakes coming to the 3DS.
Woo!
That's right, folks. A new Pokemon game has been slated for release in November 2014. That is going to be this year. However, entirely new games, these are not. Nintendo is remaking the classic GBA titles, GBA, Game Boy Advanced, of Ruby and Sapphire for the 3DS. The original Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire were released in 2002 in Japan and 2003 in North America. The two games have sold over 16 million copies, which makes them GBA's best-selling products. Though the press release from Nintendo states that it will be a new adventure in a brand new world, only time will tell if that is a bold-faced lie. So,
I'm excited.
yeah. You know what? JJ actually converted me into a quasi Pokemon fan when we bought X and Y together as best friends. All right, moving on, and we're going to do two little segments about this. I think the biggest news, and y'all have probably heard about it ad nauseum for the past few days.
This is breaking news right now.
Yeah.
We're breaking it for the first time.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm sure you guys have heard this, but Microsoft has finally decided to unbundle the Kinect with the Xbox. They decided to, give you an option to either buy it with the Kinect or not. Something I have been harping on in the show since.
That's probably why they probably listen
Yeah,
to the show.
they were like, that Brian over there at the Frozen North podcast. He really got it in my ear. No, but I think it goes to show that I wasn't the only one complaining about that.
Oh, definitely not.
So, it's going to be now at the same price point as PlayStation 4, hopefully giving Xbox more of a boost in the sales market. I'm excited about it. I didn't ever see the merit of the Kinect, so therefore the value of it was never worth buying. So now that they said, hey, you don't need to buy it, I do definitely see value in buying the Xbox One. It's definitely a good machine, and there's definitely, I'm saying definitely a lot. I'm sorry. But there is, Halo 5 coming down the pipes. I'm sure we'll see another Gears of War, some of my favorite titles. So I'm excited. I don't know. What about you guys? What do you guys think?
Let's see. They said that starting in June, right?
Believe it will be June 9th in
June
all
9th.
markets where Xbox One is currently sold.
And are they going to be selling a Kinect standalone?
That is something that's not clear, actually. Let me see. It's going to be a separate accessory for those who wish to adopt the motion and voice controls in the future. So, yeah.
Okay. Well,
I think you can still buy the bundle as well.
well, sure, obviously.
yeah.
At least for the foreseeable
For
future.
yeah, sure. The next,
The thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if they make the Kinect accessory 120.
they're going to try to
And
recoup
then
some of them
it's
losses.
the better deal is to get the freaking bundle anyway. So
Exactly. I just don't see any value in the Kinect. I don't. I've never seen value in it, so therefore it's not worth any amount of money.
I think there could be value in the Kinect.
It could be, yeah, potential value, yes.
But I mean,
current value.
we talked about this.
Yeah.
The issue here is Microsoft needs to spend the money themselves to show people what a good core Kinect game looks like.
Microsoft needs to take the risk. They're not taking any risk with that Kinect. They never did, and that was the issue. They were like, well, we're not going to take any risk. We're going to build it, but we're not going to...
Yep.
people thought there was potential for value in the Ouya too.
Oh, I know. Hey, they got to show its value
just
before I purchase it. And no matter what anybody says, they cannot show me value in the Kinect because voice commands are not value in a motion control device. Next headline, also Microsoft making also changes to Xbox Live. No longer do you need a gold membership to watch things such as Hulu and Netflix. Another amazing revelation. I never understood why paid services were behind a paywall. I was like, I have to pay for Netflix. Why do I also have to, I'll just go watch it on my, my PS3. So that's another, I think they're making some look, a lot of Microsoft apologists are very upset at this, but I hate to tell you this, Microsoft fans, they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, definitely.
They're doing they're going to do what's best for Microsoft. JJ is laughing, and I want to know why.
I'm laughing at your note here, the one that you have at the bottom of this article. Yeah,
I'll get to that in a minute because I do want to talk about that. I think a lot of Microsoft, and I'm going to say this because it's apropos for next week's episode. A lot of Microsoft fanboys are mad because they have there's something different about Microsoft, but honestly, it was hurting their brand. So I feel like doing this is the right move. The way I like to put it, Microsoft is going full Sony. They decided to just mirror Sony's model, which look, it's not a bad idea.
No, it's not,
competition breeds, samesies.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to think of the word.
You got that?
Samesies.
Is that
competition
samesies?
breeds copy.
Was that Confucius or
something?
Shakespeare, maybe?
Competition breeds copies.
Samesies.
And samesies, yeah, exactly. So I think this is going to, in the end, help
Lord.
Microsoft stay in the race as Sony is right now winning, if you want to put it in that metric. So good for Microsoft. I think it's a great move. I will be purchasing an Xbox One now. I can finally buy it without the thing that I don't value as a part of it. So, bam, a thumbs up. Anyway, let's move on to another company somewhat struggling right now, Nintendo. They have stated that they will not launch their next console until people are satisfied with the Wii U. Iwata suggests a single title could shift the momentum of the Wii U. I agree with that. Nintendo has published its Q&A from last week, financial results briefing for the fiscal year ending March 2014. In the Q&A, a question was posted whether Nintendo plans to launch its next-gen hardware in the next 3 years, given that Wii U is in a dire situation, potentially rushing the next console earlier than expected. Nintendo President Satoru Iwata answer, posted below, reveals that launching the next-gen system without satisfying owners of its current platforms would not produce, air quotes, good results. Basically saying, if you don't buy the Wii U, we're not launching another console.
It kind of makes sense.
That'll show us.
I do agree with the first bullet point there that I think a really good, one of Nintendo's brand name games that comes out for the Wii U that's actually quality is as high is going to sell a lot of systems.
I think they definitely need to have some software wins right now.
Absolutely.
They jumped the gun with the Wii U. It came out a year before everything else. And if they start, if they make another console before these consoles have even almost entered the market,
correct,
they're going to be completely out of sync, and it's going to be a bad situation.
Staying on the Nintendo track, Philips is actually suing Nintendo. It seeks to halt Wii U sales in the U.S., so they're going to halt those 5 or 6 sales. Philips has filed suit against Nintendo claiming patent infringement. Specifically, the complaint focuses on motion-controlled consoles and peripherals, including the Wii U and its accessories, and technology that, air quotes, models a user's body in a virtual environment by animating a virtual body to follow the physical movements of the user, end quote. Sounds pretty...
Patent trolls.
Yep. I think this is just going to be I think this is just going to be another small loss for Nintendo, and they're just going to settle and move on.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
Be honest with you. Moving on, away from consoles, to software, older software, more Shin Megami Tensei PS2 games are coming to the PS3. Obviously, that's going to be in the PSN form. Atlus made a surprise PS2 classic release of Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne for the PlayStation 3. You can grab it now on North America PSN for $9.99. They also sent out a newsletter about the game's release, but not without closing the newsletter with a tease. Is that it? ? Are there more PS2 classics to come? It's getting hot in here with all these Shin Megami Tensei releases.
Wow.
End quote. Yes. I've never played the series, but I know it's got a huge following. So,
Yep.
if I do ever play it, I will be excited to play it on my PS3 via the PSN or PS4. All right, Destiny beta. Mark, Destiny beta.
Yeah.
It's launching in July.
I'm excited.
Yep, Activision just confirmed a month for games beta. Bungie's Destiny is releasing on September 9th.
Yeah, but Mark's
this year.
going to play it on Xbox One.
Mark.
Oh, yeah, you're going to get an Xbox One,
hey,
huh?
I want to know.
Huh?
Yeah, give me this. I'll be honest with you, Mark. I think if Xbox does come out with that Halo HD remake for 1 through 4, I think that might swing me over to the Xbox One before the PS4.
You got to do it.
All right.
I'll add you to my friends list.
Well, I have an Xbox 360, so you can
already be
add
on
me
there
to that.
Oh.
All right. Rockstar, the company promising next-gen release this fiscal year.
Ooh.
During today's, it's not today, but during a record revenue Take-Two financial call, CEO Strauss Zelnick acknowledged the significant contribution. I think.
That name doesn't get a weird accent
hold
from
on.
you?
I think I read somewhere that I don't know if you guys can confirm this, that didn't Grand Theft Auto 5 make another billion on top of their launch billion?
I'm
not sure.
I thought I heard something. Okay, anyway, while at their fiscal or financial meeting where they were rolling in all their money, they talked about basically a new product coming out for the next gen consoles. He says, "We're excited about what Rockstar have in store for the new generation of systems this financial or fiscal year," said Zelnick. Fiscal year. So that could be all the way into next 2015.
Right.
So until February. So
It couldn't be from the main team because they were working on GTA 5, so it's probably one of these side teams. Maybe it's a new Red Dead Redemption.
that's
Red
what
Dead game?
I would hope that would be maybe a game.
A new Bully game.
Maybe.
A new Warriors game.
Okay, well, now you're just naming.
Every game they've made.
Yeah. The fiscal year does conclude in March. I mean, it's the end of February, so
We'll see what happens.
yeah, we'll see.
Cool.
That's your news, guys. News.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We had one more thing we wanted to announce also. Mark?
Oh.
That's right. We have a great new announcement. Matt Hembry has become our first forum moderator on fngaming.net. If you would like to be a forum moderator, head over to our website and find our classified ads.
Congratulations, Matt.
Congratulations, Matt.
Yay, Matt.
Yeah, you're the moderator of my heart.
But yeah, he's we're still waiting on a bio picture from him if he wants one up there. But we got a nice little bio for him. Not really little, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of
He
longer
threw away
than
a life story.
I thought it was good.
No, it was good. Absolutely, it was just
Yeah.
like, dang.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're looking for more people still. So by all means, come and apply. Moving along. Why don't we talk about our top 5 underrated games?
Whoa!
our 500 underrated games.
Here we go.
Top 5 underrated games.
Okay, before we begin, I would like to qualify what the metric was I used for my list so that it's not confusing, right? Because you could qualify many things. The way my list works is critical acclaim, not so hot, and also people may have missed it and didn't get to play it. So it didn't quite get the ratings it deserved, and also people didn't get a chance to play it.
Sure.
So a lack of play, so sales involved, and a lack of critical acclaim, or maybe looked over critically.
On
That was
my
kinda
list,
how
my metric was anything I can justify, anything I can get away with.
So basically,
I think looking at Mark's list and looking at mine, I think we kind of were pretty similar in that, like, just games that we felt didn't really get the attention they deserved.
yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
definitely.
But I mean, did you guys weigh like critical attention over like maybe
No, because
popularity?
I've got like 2 games on mine that actually 3 that got really good reviews.
So
But
yours are
still
your metrics are great critical acclaim, but perhaps missed by the.
it has nothing to do with critical acclaim at all. It's just games that I personally feel deserve more attention.
Okay.
That's it.
So okay, personal underrated games.
When have we not done a personal list?
Well, I'm saying like I'm talking about underrated
Ruin
in
everything.
general.
He ruins everything.
Oh man.
everything.
I'm just trying to get a flavor of your guys'.
Brian, as long as you can get away with it.
Okay, deal. Kind of like
Of
crime.
course, it's personal. If it was like factual underrated games, we would all have the exact same list.
No. But this game's got to have. You have to have played.
Objectively,
obviously.
undeniably underrated
Yeah,
games.
right? Exactly.
Well, yeah. Okay. I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm just gonna have my thumb up here.
Don't.
Sounded wrong. That sounded
Oh,
wrong.
Mark, not there. Oh.
I'm gonna give you a thumb up or a thumb down, and I'm not gonna tell the audience.
Okay.
This is one of those times. It's not good that we're audio because
That was great.
wow. Not saying that we should have video of that because that makes it worse.
Right.
But you know what I mean. Oh Lord. All right, who wants to start? I started last time, so
My number 5.
Do it.
This is Brian, by the way, talking. My.
actually, I don't think I started last time.
I don't know.
No, I
Either
don't
way,
know.
well,
Whatever.
Brian started up.
My number 5 is Enslaved. Odyssey
choice.
to the West. This is the same studio, I believe, that did Heavenly Sword, and I think Andy Serkis. He's the guy who played Gollum. In
Yes.
He kind of took the reins on this one and did a lot of the mocap work. Mocap is short for motion capture. This game had an amazing story. You play this guy. I think his name is like Monkey, and it's kind of like in a dystopian future. The world's kind of in tatters, and there's a woman that you have to lead to the West. Amazing graphics / animation. I think the reason it kind of fell flat was its gameplay was a bit repetitivo, but I really enjoyed the story. I thought, the motion capture was top notch. Just the music, the visuals, amazing. Should have been better. Should have been better. Critically acclaimed.
I hear they used the Kinect to get the motion capture.
I played it on.
Did you actually hear that?
PS, I don't know. No, I tell you what though, it got lukewarm critical praise, and I know a lot of people didn't get the chance to pick this up, but it's worth.
I never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's good. The Heavenly Sword was also good. It made my top 10, but not quite my top 5. So, yep, Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, my number 5.
Mark, why don't you go next?
My number 5 underrated game is Lair for the PlayStation 3. No, just kidding. That game was awful.
I was like, wait.
Doesn't sound right.
My number 5 is actually Advent Rising
Man.
for the Xbox and PC. This game was made by the Mustard Brothers. I don't know if a lot of people aren't familiar with the Mustard Brothers. They went on to create Undertow, not Heavenly Sword, that sword game for for iOS. Oh God, Infinity Blade.
Yes,
that's the one. Infinity Blade. So this Advent Rising is this.
Don't do that. You're gonna hurt your wrist
game.
again.
Well, sure. It's a.
Sure.
It's an action-adventure game. The music was composed by Tommy Tallarico, who sadly doesn't seem to compose music nearly as much as he used to. He's doing his whole video games live thing right now. The story was actually written by Orson Scott Card of Ender's Game fame, so you know the story's going to be good.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, the game was fairly buggy and unpolished, and it took a major hit for that, so people just ended up not playing it.
Yep.
All right. Mark's number 5, Advent Rising. Oh, I really can't talk too much about these because it kills me. But, like physically, my throat hurts. So my number 5 underrated game is Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. This game, honestly, like if you were to look at it from a perspective of, the way games are made now and how even from like, PlayStation 2 era, it's, in your words, Brian, a complete dumpster fire.
Yes.
And I think that's how most people do look at it, which is the problem. This game, when it was made, was designed to be an introductory RPG to people who had never played an RPG before.
It's like a Western.
Designed to show you the basics of, just about a guy saving the world, meets his friends along the way, going through dungeons, getting items, upgrading his equipment, leveling up, all that stuff. Very bare bones and basic. There really wasn't anything special about it. But what it tried to do, I think it achieved very, very well. And that's why I've always kind of, had a soft spot in my heart for it. It's not going to win any awards, not amazing, but I don't think it deserves the crap that
hate.
it gets from people. So that's my number 5, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Brian, number 4.
My number 4 is, thank you, Mark, Advent Rising.
Good choice.
Yep. This game I played on the P to the C, the personal computer is what that stands for. I don't know why I'm defining all the acronyms I'm saying. Anyway, Mark is kind of moving that thumb around. Okay. Anyway, Advent Rising, Mark said it. It was an amazing story. Oh, that ending was such a cliffhanger, too, and it was like you wanted to see the conclusion. It just is never going to happen. I hope somebody buys the rights to that and then continues its story, because it definitely had bugs, but it was like a hidden gem. I felt like it was a hidden gem. You just, what's this game? It had this bright yellow box with like a human on it, and it was looking up in the air, and it was like a beam of light.
It's almost like a cliche now, but when it came out, it was really cool.
Oh yeah, and I just wish it did better, so we could get the conclusion of it.
All right, cool. So that's Brian's number 4, Advent Rising.
Nice. Why don't you talk at length about? Oh no, wait, Mark.
Yeah, we need you to talk at length about this one, please.
Mark, it's your turn.
All right.
I've never played this game.
All right.
So
you haven't?
I've not.
Have you played the first one?
I've played about 5 minutes of it.
Just remember that when I read the
I remember
title.
buying the first one because I had like $12 in my bank account, and you and your brother convinced me to buy it because it was on sale for $10.
Yeah, dude.
And
It's
I was
amazing.
Like, I get paid in like 4 days, so it's cool. I'll make it work.
$2, man. Woo!
My number 4 is Deus Ex Invisible War.
Is this the one that came out on the Xbox?
It did. It did come out on the Xbox. It also came out on the PC.
The PC and the Xbox.
This came out, I think it was 2003. So it was like 4 or so years after Deus Ex. And I remember people were sort of down on it when it came out. One thing, legitimate complaint is there are 3 endings in Deus Ex, and they kind of had to find a way to collapse it down into one starting point for
the
sequel. So I could see people being a little upset about that. It was also sort of a departure. It wasn't. It was sort of watered down in a couple of ways, but the plot was just so darn good. There's so many good ideas in there, and the way the branching storyline played out, especially in the beginning, was really interesting and unique, and I have to give it thumbs up for that.
Sweet.
Good work, sir. Now,
All right.
I need you, JJ, on yours to talk at length, probably at least 10 minutes about your next one.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think you would probably agree with me on this one, though.
I do. It's your number 3 that I have an issue with, but your number 4 is definitely one that I can see why you put that on your list.
My number 4 underrated game is Final Fantasy VIII. Yep. It by no means is my favorite in the series. By no means is probably even in my top 5. But I like it. It still had a a decent story. The gameplay mechanics were good. I liked the battle system. I wasn't a fan of the draw system and stuff, but
yeah,
I mean, people like this game or they
hate it.
Really hate it.
It's never in the middle.
There's no that game was all right.
Yeah.
It's like oh, I really like that one, or that's the worst game I've ever played.
You're right.
Blah, blah, blah.
It's a very polarizing game.
I mean, I don't know. There's a big controversy, and it's not that big because most people think 7 is better, but between 7 and 8, you love one, you hate the other. I think both are great, to be honest. I would pick 7 over 8 easily, but I don't think hate is the hate. Final Fantasy hate. You know what? That's a good way.
Final Fantasy. I think I've heard it
it
called that before. Oh yeah, you like Final Fantasy? Hate it.
It just does not deserve the crap that it gets. Again, same thing.
I remember one of my friends saying that it was crap because the characters were lifelike. So in Final Fantasy VII, you had the little Cloud was the little pixely dwarf. Sorry, is that PC? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. Do they prefer dwarf?
PC,
or
it stands for
small
personal
person?
computer.
Yeah. Anyway. So and then I remember one of my friends' complaints was the characters were now like life size and tall. Isn't that a good thing? No.
Did you play 9?
I did. Yeah.
Because they definitely were not like that in 9.
Right, and so they went back to that. I don't know. There are a lot of weird complaint states, so I do agree that was an underrated title for the Final Fantasy series for sure. It's definitely not as bad as people make it out to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, not my favorite in the series by any means, but
Yeah.
not a bad game. So that's my number 4, Final Fantasy 8. Whose turn? Brian.
Yeah.
Brian, you're up. Number 3.
This one I have to thank Mark for. I saw his list and I completely forgot about this one. I think it goes to show you maybe that's why it's underrated. But It was such a good game when I played it. It's beyond good and evil. Mark and I have talked about this before. It is such a fantastic. The music, the story. It is a bit of a campy story, more geared towards the younger audience. But
Sure.
at the same time, it had some really heady themes to it.
Yeah.
Occupation, too much control, a lot of like spying. You play as Jade, and what's the pig's name?
Paige.
Just it was such a good story and good game that I can't believe it got lukewarm reviews and a very small following. Underrated for sure, Mark. That's my number 3, Beyond Good and Evil.
All right. Mark, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Oni. Does anyone remember Oni?
Never played it, but I do remember it.
I remember seeing it, but I never played it
This
myself.
this game was designed by Bungie West.
Oh,
I wish I remember when it came out because that would
98
help
maybe.
me out here. But yeah, so this game you could say it almost completely plagiarizes the ideas of Ghost in the Shell, down to like the character designs and the character archetypes. But this game was really cool, and when it came out, the kind of like kinetic martial arts style combat that it was doing was sort of revolutionary, especially the way it blended it with the gunplay. And for a young mind, when I hadn't experienced as many stories, I really found that story to be intriguing and fascinating. But maybe if I played it now, I would find it to be.
You're a little too mature now.
Right. I'd turn my nose up at it now, maybe.
There you go.
Too hipster to like it. But I liked it when it came out. That's Oni.
All right, Mark's number 3. My number 3.
Shenanigans.
You haven't even played it.
But I have never seen a list. And here, before you say your number 3, I have never, on the top 10 RPGs of all time, I have never not seen this game on somebody's list. So that's all I'm saying.
I could make a list and it wouldn't be on my top 10.
I'm just
Boom.
saying.
First time for everything.
You're a first time for everything.
My number 3, I will. Let me explain. I'm going
Okay.
to rebut you real good.
All right, rebut
McIntyre.
me. Yo. Okay.
My number 3 is Chrono Cross. You haven't even played the freaking game.
It's not about the game. It's that when I saw that on your list, I was like, man, wasn't that a really popular game? Like what was my first thought. But
Chrono Cross, yes, was popular. It sold well. Absolutely. It sold well because Chrono Trigger sold well and was amazing.
Yeah.
And people loved Chrono Trigger.
Right.
So people went to Chrono Cross looking for Chrono Trigger and the direct sequel to Chrono Trigger. That's not the case. It's not what it is. There are some very, very loose tie-ins to it.
Sure.
But it is by far from the same game or even that similar. And because of that, the people who did play it, because there were so many people who bought it, it gained that much more hate. And not from critics. Critics.
I was going to say, it got critical acclaim, right?
That's the thing. It's critics, I think, and this is one of those cases where they looked at it
As a standalone?
not objectively, but yes, as a standalone, kind of like just took it for what it was, which is how people should have. But I mean, if you look at like review sites and stuff, you look at the critics' reviews, they are all very, very good. But you look at reader reviews, and they are all over the board.
Gotcha.
Anywhere from 2 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. It's crazy. So many people don't like this game just because they don't think it's Chrono Trigger.
So it got underrated.
That's my problem.
Gotcha. So they're like, I don't like it just because it's not Chrono Trigger.
Correct.
When they didn't give it an objective
Yes,
trans. Gotcha.
absolutely.
Okay.
And I think if they had come into it not expecting that, they may have found a wonderful experience because it really is a good game in its own right.
Right.
But it's not Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
And you shouldn't expect that, and that's why people shouldn't hate on it.
I just got
You know what I mean?
rebutted pretty McIntyrely.
But that's why it's on there.
Okay.
So
Deal. All right.
because I mean you're right. It sold extremely well. Absolutely.
I accept your justification for it.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
You rebutted me, Mac, entirely.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
You do know how.
Nope, I don't. Brian, what's your number 2, man?
Number 2 for me is The Legend of Dragoon. The what I like to call dragons mixed with Power Rangers mixed with Final Fantasy.
That's the one.
This game got. I remember when it came out because my friend was really big into like Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger, or not Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger. I'm sorry, Final Fantasy VII. He was like, this game is just like it. It looks just like it. It was a Final Fantasy VII clone. I would like to say. When it came out, it got like a 7, I believe. I remember this was IGN just started becoming a thing, and I looked at it. I was like, why did it get rated so bad? I was like, I don't understand. I was younger, picked it up, played it. Oh my god, it was amazing to me. I was like, I don't have any idea why this got lukewarm reviews.
Probably, I mean, they were comparing it to Final Fantasy
and that's
VII.
why I think why it got underrated so harshly. And, truthfully, it felt very similar to Final Fantasy VII,
but it wasn't as open.
Correct.
It was very, very linear.
But I loved it so much, and I was like, why is this getting trashed so much? It's got such a great story, great concept. I love the whole dragon spirit makes you into a dragon Power Ranger. I loved it.
I wholeheartedly agree with you on this. I will say I think this is one of those games that people are kind of looking back on now and reflecting and being like, well, how did we miss this? It's like, well, Final Fantasy VII was kind of right
in
there,
that,
taking up the bulk of the sunlight.
That makes sense.
So, but I don't really hear too many people say bad things about this game,
Sure.
especially the ones that did play it back then. But people are from what I can tell and understand, going back to it now, which is a good sign.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like it a lot.
Cool. So Brian's number 2, Legend of Dragoon. Mark, what's your number 2?
Oh, yeah. My number 2 is Brian's number 3. That would be Beyond Good and Evil.
Beyond Good and Evil.
Beyond Good and Evil.
What a great game.
It is.
What a great game. Designed by, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right because it's French, but Michael Ansel.
How do you spell it?
Michel.
Michel?
Michel?
Yeah, there you have it. Who designed the Peter Jackson King Kong game, Rayman Origins.
You just call it Raymond?
Rayman Origins.
He did say that Raymond.
Everybody
loves Raymond Origins.
They do. So this game, wow, what a great game! I would say it's almost like the Pixar. It's a game that Pixar would make if they made a game. The character designs were so good. The acting was really good. And Brian said it was sort of a childish, child geared game. I would say it's more of a teen, early teen geared game. But it was something that anyone could enjoy, like a good Pixar movie.
I say that because in the stealth moments where the way you take out the enemies is you bust their paint cans. And
then also, I think that was just also part of a more comedic, lighthearted approach.
Sure, right.
It had some mature ideas to it that were interesting, made you think. And man, so typing on a controller. This sounds like a departure, but I'm going somewhere with this. We've all hated typing on a controller on consoles for like decades, right?
Yep.
Because it sucks.
Yep, since inception.
Well, this just happened to have a great solution to that nobody ever noticed or used anywhere else, and that's taking the entire keyboard and laying it out on a helix that you scroll through.
Yep.
With the joystick.
It's still QWERTY as well, I believe.
It might be. I'm not sure. Either way, it's so much faster than real typing. I just wanted to put that in there. Brian already told you what was great about the game. It really knows how to pull at your heartstrings.
So you want to bring out the typing. That makes sense.
Hey, it was cool. People have been trying to solve that problem, and they solved it like 10 years ago.
A lot of cool concepts.
Yeah, cool.
I will say,
Ubisoft.
I've never played this game before, but I remember watching you play it at the lake, and literally for the entire afternoon I watched you play, you just walked back and forth through the same cave, crawling through a tunnel. That's all I remember.
I was probably near the end of the game.
Oh,
that part was a little bit frustrating.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember much about it. So.
Yeah.
Or I was trying to get all my
Bring
pictures.
it back, Ubisoft.
I was probably trying to get a picture of some creature.
Sequel, Ubisoft, you heard me.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll bring it back. They've already gone beyond. Good and Evil. Okay. So Mark's number 2, Beyond Good and Evil. My number 2 is the number 2 in a series that I really like.
Nice.
The Wild Arms series, Wild Arms 2, to be more specific. I actually recently listened to a podcast where they called this game the worst in the series, which isn't the first time that I've heard that, and I disagree. I think honestly the series got worse as it went along, which isn't to say that any of them are bad games. I just don't think the later ones are as good as the first couple. But it still retains the old school feel of old school RPGs while, doing what those kind of games were trying to do at that point, is push the envelope of the new systems that were coming out, like PlayStation, that kind of stuff. And I think it did just a wonderful job, and it was a good solid game that just, I don't know why it gets the flack. It's goofy and corny. Brian would hate it with a passion. I know it, because it's a convoluted mess in a lot of places. Like, it's pretty darn ridiculous.
There are a lot of moments where you go, why am I here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It really is. But just from a gameplay standpoint, and just if you again take it for what it is, which I like those kind of
Absolutely.
games anyway. So for me, I just don't think it deserves the flack
hate
that it got. So that's my number 2, Wild Arms 2.
Very good.
Second Ignition.
Oh.
Yeah.
My number 1. Let me ask you guys a question. And the audience can participate too. Raise your hand if you'd ever played a Spec Ops game before. I'm sure none of you are, because those games were perennially bad. Anyway, this one, Spec Ops The Line came out. And I remember seeing it, and I remember seeing it advertised, and I was just like,
I think it's funny that his number 1 is a bro game.
It's definitely not a bro game.
Not a bro game.
It's definitely not a bro game.
The dude when I still had my old job, the dude there that told me that his PS3 was more powerful than my PC, loved this game.
Okay, let me explain.
And he always talked about his KDR.
No, let me explain. This was not an online game. I don't believe, or at least it. At least I didn't play it for the online. Well, I read a review on this game, and this reviewer was like, "This is one of the best stories in any like modern military shooter that he's ever played." And I was like, "What?" Like, because you're thinking Spec Ops game, you're thinking like, "Oh, it's going to be a bro game. It's going to be just a really like quick story with a multiplayer facet to it." So
Right.
lo and behold, a Steam sale comes along, and this game's for $5. And I'm like, you know what? I read that review. I'm going to try it out. Holy moly, that story gave me goosebumps, like physically. At the end, you're like,
Makes you ask questions.
oh wow. The story's a lot about the morals of war and like what's right and what's wrong, and it weighs those things in such an artistic way that at the end you're kind of trying to justify it. You have to play it to experience it, but
Why did you buy it on Steam? It was free on PlayStation Plus a while ago.
I played it back like maybe 2 Steam sales ago.
It's been out for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah. Two Steam sales ago. That was, what is that, like 3
2
months
years ago? No, like 2 summer sales ago.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It was
that makes
on there
sense.
for like $5, and I looked at it and I was like, let me try it out. And then you play it and you're like, the end of the game, you're thinking like, oh man, it's one of those moments where you're watching the credits, like I said with BioShock Infinite, where you sit there and you're like, what? Very, very heady. I was blown away that this bro game had such a absolutely phenomenally written story in it. It had its
What a shocker.
it had its issues, but it was quite a good game.
Is that your number 1?
That's his number
Spec
1.
Ops,
Well,
The Line.
We have a better number 1.
no shenanigans.
certainly do.
No,
Shenanigans.
we have a better one.
Mark and I
And
have
I'll
the
give
same
you
number 1.
I'll give you 108 reasons
Oh,
why it's better. Our number 1 is the Suikoden series.
Absolutely.
1, 2, 3, and 5.
Mark, can you explain? Mark. Yeah, I was going to say, hey, go ahead and tell me how underrated 4 was. Go. Give me its merits.
I'm going to tell you that once my screen turns back on.
The series as a whole.
All right. Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. Number 4, I'm probably overly harsh on it. Therefore, it's underrated by me.
Boom.
Didn't all the Suikoden series get pretty good critical acclaim?
4 didn't.
Besides 4.
Yeah, 4 didn't really. I don't think.
Depends on who you ask. Look at the review on RPGFan.com for Suikoden 2. It's like 6 out of 10.
Wait, I'm looking.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm looking through my list here, and I can't see any other of these games on here that have an entire movement of 20,000 plus people wanting to bring it back. That's
Beyond Good and Evil.
okay. Maybe there's one.
But it's not. It hasn't come back. That's the problem.
But does that because the company
Suikoden
underrates
series
it?
doesn't. It has not gotten the attention that it deserves. It is on par with, and I'm a Final Fantasy freak. You know that. I think it's on par with the Final Fantasy series as far as writing and just having its own unique feel.
I'd say we've gotten a long way towards getting it exposed to more people, but
Right.
we are not
Absolutely.
there yet.
I think the fact that it has an entire movement devoted to making it less underrated is a pretty good testament to it. And I really enjoyed 1 when I played it. So
You'll like 2 even more.
yeah, so I can see it, guys. I was gonna rebut McIntyre, but Mark, tell me how good 4 is.
4 is awful, but probably
his least favorite game of
if
all
you ask
time.
someone else, they might disagree. So
I love how last top 5 we did was least favorite game of all time. Mark's was Suikoden 4, and now he is defending it.
Honestly,
as being
if we had to
underrated.
narrow it down, though, I think Mark and I would probably have the same game in the series as most underrated as well. 3.
3, definitely,
3.
definitely.
Yeah, that's my favorite game in the entire series. Most people like 2, but I had an absolute blast with 3. The combat's a little slow, but the game itself is.
And you may be right, because
done.
I think 2 is widely accepted as the most.
2 is, you ask anyone what's the best in the series.
Yeah.
It's always going to be 2. Everyone's always
So
going to say
everybody
that.
overlooks 3.
But I think 3 definitely gives it a run for its money.
Yep, I feel the same
cool.
way.
All right.
So there you have it.
Very good. The Suikoden series. Can't wait to play 4.
You got to get through 2 and 3 first.
Yeah,
man.
that's true.
3 is a long
That's what I heard.
game.
Although I'm getting through Xenogears and realizing what a trip that has been.
Need to hurry up and finish.
Getting
Good
close.
night.
Yep.
Man. You've been saying that for like a year.
Well, I took like a 2-week break.
And when did he start playing this? He beat Final Fantasy
He started
1.
this back
and
in,
then
like,
he
February.
beat Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
February.
2.
I think end of February is when I started.
And then
Mark.
what happened after Final Fantasy 2?
He's still on his journey.
I played Suikoden after Final Fantasy 2.
He's on his journey.
Suikoden.
Good. That's a good choice. Good work on that one.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I think that's all we have
Yeah,
for today.
guys, that was a good episode.
Good.
Solid.
Great episode.
Yeah.
We're coming in a little short today too.
I'm
Wow.
hoping
you want me
JJ's
to-
voice can heal in the next 30 minutes.
I can fill
Doubt
some time with just a random thought about
Go ahead.
stuff.
Do it right now.
Let's talk about how.
You just got a lot
No.
louder.
Hold on, I have a really, really fun topic to talk about, and that is next gen consoles and
What about?
their
You mean current gen
We already
consoles?
talked about that
current gen
before.
consoles. Thank you.
That's all the time we have
Yeah.
for today. Thank you very much for listening. We appreciate your support, and check us out at fngaming.net.
Absolutely. My name is Mark.
My
See, you threw us off.
Yeah, Mark,
You
what are you
threw us
doing?
off.
I had to get in there before you tricked
wait.
me.
Go back to JJ. What's your name?
My
JJ.
name is JJ.
Your name is JJ.
Unhowdy, y'all.
Oh, you're like reversing it?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
He
He
didn't
didn't
do it.
howdy y'all at the beginning,
didn't.
so what are you doing, sir? You're
Unhowdy
going into
from
negative.
last time.
We got to do the whole episode over again.
Yeah.
Start from the
Let's
beginning.
start over.
Hello and welcome
Turn-
to the first.
And I'm Brian, guys.
All right. Thanks
Where's
for
that?
listening, and shut up, Mark.
Thanks for listening, and shut up, Mark.
But keep on gaming.
Please send us Brian hate mail. This song was made available via the Creative Commons Attribution License. The song, Somewhere in the Stars, was written and produced by SoundCloud user _TWC.